As some of you know, I have been the primary and most revered journalist following the Diddy case with an extremely objective eye. Through my viral sketches, interviews with the prosecution, and our deep research on this very podcast, I've made objectivity and journalistic integrity my goal. But today, it is time for the most important interview in the history of the Boyscast. Sharay Hayes, aka The Punisher, is a male stripper and escort that was hired for P. Diddy's freak-offs multiple times and engaged in intercourse while Diddy watched in the corner wearing a hijab. Sharay testified in the trial and has written a highly reviewed book called In Search of Freezer Meat about erectile dysfunction, getting a penis implant, masculinity, and more. So without further ado, The Punisher.
How you doing, man?
It's your pleasure.
The boys,
It's the Boyscast.
the lads,
It's the Boyscast.
the dudes,
Prepare yourself for Boyscast.
the bros,
It's the Boyscast.
the homies,
It's the Boyscast.
the dudes.
Experience the Boyscast.
The Boyscast.
Huge day for the podcast. The Punisher has just walked into the studio. The man, the legend. You can do headphones or not headphones. It's your
I do the
choice.
headphones. I do the headphones. I saw you guys Punisher vid. It was funny.
Oh, we got questions.
I've been obsessed with the story. The
Yeah,
whole thing.
Ryan went to the trial. He was at the courthouse and stuff.
Wow, you went down?
Yeah,
I
it was
went
a whole
to-
scandal.
I actually went to the. I went to the trial early on, and then some guy came out and he said he was part of Diddy's defense, and he was like, he said he knew you.
What?
Actually, I should show a picture of this guy because
Let's see if we can pull up a picture. He was one of his lawyers, not the main one.
yeah, he said he was like a PDM. Do you know what that is? Like what's like an expert witness sort of thing?
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I'm not even familiar with this guy. I'm gonna check him out.
This guy, and he knows you. He said he's like a friend of a friend. He said he knows someone from your family.
Maybe. I don't recognize him. I don't know.
You're getting grilled again. You're on the stand again.
Everyone's been saying this guy's a liar. So okay. Well, start from the beginning. By the way, I finished this weekend. I finished the book In Search of Freezer Meat.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for checking
Buddy,
it out,
because
man.
so there's a whole bunch of stuff to get into, but the first thing is I actually am a guy that's had trouble getting it up tons of times. So I actually did, and I also like this funny that you said your dick was a hoopty. That's actually pretty funny. He goes, you know, if it works sometimes, if you want to put the heat up at a certain angle, you don't want to mess with the settings.
But it resonates, right? It resonates.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I've been there.
Who's it harder to get it up with? Hotter chicks or less hot chicks? Because we always have this debate.
So under normal circumstances, it's hotter chicks, right? Because you get more pressure.
Yes.
But when you can get to a point, like I wrote about in my book, where it doesn't even matter. Right. You just, once you get in your head that you got problems.
Yeah.
Then every situation.
It's literally like
is
you
an
have the
anxiety
yips,
thing.
right? Like it's just sports. It's like if you're like playing baseball and you're just like I just cannot hit a beach ball right
but
now.
see how you simplify it, right? It is that simple, but it's a whole bunch of guys with the yips. It's like an epidemic, and everybody's just saying, "Here, take a pill."
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just pop a pill. You're good. You know what I'm saying? And then you start popping these pills, and you're like, all right, this pill stopped work. Let me try this pill. Oh, let me go to the gas station. Let me go to the sex shop down here. This place in India sells this powder, you know? And
Me
all
and
of
my
a sudden-
friends got China ones, and all they did was make your face so red.
Yeah,
We would literally be at like comedy shows, and Ryan would be meeting some girl, and you knew because his face would just be bright red like 3 hours.
Bro,
in
we're
advance.
here, man. Fist bump, bro. Fist bump. I've had that. I've had the flush face. You know, it's crazy.
The China pills were out of control.
Oh, yeah.
I remember being a girl's house. She goes, "Why are you so red?"
Yeah, then you're just like, it's warm in here.
Got an alcohol intolerance.
They didn't even work that good either.
No.
They were just face reddening pills.
Crazy.
No, and then there was a Viagra guy. We used to have a dealer that we would meet. He was like a steroid dealer, but then he would also deal Viagra, and we'd meet this guy in his car, and then
I probably know him.
Yeah. So you had it? Did you remember? Because nowadays you can just kind of get it easily. It used to be more of a black market operation to get Viagra back in the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Felt
like
like
10 years
like he
ago.
was buying narcotics.
Yes. And we were, because a lot of these steroid labs would make fake Viagra. That's what I'm saying. But that's so that the start is that now that all this Diddy stuff's happened and you were on trial. Not on trial. You were a witness, right? Yeah. Like a witness for the prosecution, essentially, right? Has like pussy been coming at you pretty hard?
So the thing that's been coming at me pretty hard is, dude, can you bang my wife?
Stop it!
Like a lot.
Really?
Yeah. It's almost like, well, if he was good enough for Diddy, he's good enough for us.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
You got the seal of approval.
Get all of these like daily propositions, like, but bro, like you just get called by the federal government to go on the stand, and look, I know for a fact, right? I missed prostitution because of statute of limitations.
How long? What's the statute of limitations on that?
I think it's like 5 years.
Okay, so when they do prostitution charges, don't they usually kind of slap the buyer, not the seller?
Well, so it depends, right? They grab, we always see things where they grab female hookers off the street and process them. So they need the transaction. They need witness of the transaction.
Right.
I mean, if they have a sealed case kind of thing, if it's just like in front of them, they'll go after
but
you.
if it's in front of them, they'll do it, right? So I don't, even if I was interested, right?
Yeah.
The idea of possibly being set up, putting myself in a situation,
and your profile's too high.
Obvious, and I already have a history of being involved in it. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm asking for problems.
I mean, I know all of our friends that are in entertainment in some degree. Like everyone is petrified now of everything.
Yeah. You almost
the internet age made it. It's a different game now. You got to operate like a mob boss if you want to be out there famous crushing pussy.
There you go, man. You got to be when you see, and this one is even when you really look at the Diddy trial, you understand that that's his girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
If you really think of the idea that in the midst of a long-term relationship, if you have a scenario where your girlfriend doesn't want to and you persuade her to, you could be committing a crime.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we were saying the whole thing where it's like it's apparently illegal now to like fly a girl out.
Well, that's kind of what they got
That's
it
sex
on.
trafficking.
That's
sex
crazy.
Trafficking. That's sex trafficking.
Yeah, like every football player is screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, like we've literally both done that. Like I'm just like, okay, I'm a sex trafficker.
If you pay for a cab and she lives in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'll send you a cab. Yeah, you're in. Where are you? Connecticut.
Listen, it was that serious. When investigators first contacted me, I had moved to New Jersey. So they were like, oh, this guy lives in Jersey.
There's
he went
the
to
plug.
New York. But I was like, nah, I lived in New York when this stuff was happening.
Because they try and get you on all the wire stuff.
Dude, it's like I told you, the most alarming thing to me was my first sit down with prosecution was like a 5-hour interview. And they asked me every question under the sun. And I'm there, like I'm good. I'm answering everything honestly. But then as soon as the interview, like when they were done, they handed me like a booklet with every text message, everything I said, everything I sent that they had from 13 years ago.
Wow.
Shit.
So when you see those,
How do they even get that?
dude, all I know is now when I see those mob movies and it's like, don't talk on the phone, you know what I'm saying? And don't use your phone. Yo, that is about as serious as can be, man. It is not just for the movies. I could not believe, dude, I went from Android to iPhone. I don't even have those text.
They have your old BBM messages.
Yeah, dude, it was like
That's wild.
wow.
So it must be the phone company has them.
Yeah.
But they just store them forever.
They have to just store them.
So when
forever,
they
man.
say like, you know how I guess a lot of people are just like, oh, I'll never snitch or whatever, right? And then they come to you and they're like, okay, if you don't talk to us, if you don't go on the stand, we'll make you go on the stand, and then you'll go to jail. So it's like you kind of don't have a choice, do you?
Yeah, because see, when they come to you, they already have a ton of information, and you don't know where they got that information from. And there's this thing you sign. It's called like a proffer agreement, right? And I believe that's what it's called. And dude, they passively, aggressively threaten the hell out of you.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? You're fine. Everything's good or whatever. Here, sign this paper. Just tell the truth. Because if you don't tell the truth, we're going to prosecute you to the furthest extent of the law.
Yeah,
perjury,
yeah.
this, that, and the other. So just make sure you tell the truth. Just tell the truth. You hear that a gazillion times. And it's one thing if you're implicated, right? If you're a co-conspirator, because maybe you have a reason to lie, right? But if you're not a co-conspirator, like I didn't have immunity, I didn't have a non-prosecution.
Oh, really?
Because I didn't have a crime. There was no crime you can convict me of, right?
But wouldn't they
But they subpoena you.
Wouldn't they say like, hey, if you testify, you also you're going to be immune?
But again, immune to what?
Yeah. The statute of limitations.
Everything.
Right?
I would say I want full across the board.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna say give me immunity and I don't pay my taxes the next 10 years,
Yeah, you're like, I want the Hunter Biden deal.
yeah. But that kind of passive aggressive threat to tell the truth, you're gonna tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know,
But did they
it's not
subpoena
worth
you?
it
Like,
to
do you have no choice?
You don't, but I didn't let it get there, right? So
Right.
I have a close friend that's like a retired FBI agent. He does these cases, and he said, "Look, man, that's the Southern District of New York. You do not want to be on their bad side.
Yeah.
If they call you and you become evasive, and then they have to look for you to subpoena you, that's not where you want to be."
Right.
You know? So I didn't let it get there. If they reached out, I just cooperated. You want to talk? Okay, cool.
But you were also kind of under the opinion, you're like, nothing crazy happened.
Yeah, to this day, I'm not completely clear what was the value in my testimony. I'm really not.
Yeah, because it seems like
It seems like you helped the defense.
That's what I thought. At one point I thought, and this is just my thoughts, I thought maybe they're securing me as a witness to stop the defense from doing it. Kind of like one of those plays, like let's grab him on our side instead of.
So we at least like frame it the right way.
Like I said, I really speculated.
What's it like in the
could that
trial?
be?
When you're actually in the trial, is it like tense as fuck?
My man, it's the most intimidating situation I ever been in as a human being in my entire life, and I had no.
And you've
More
been some
intimidating
insane,
than Diddy with the Muslim mask thing on?
Yes, yes. Like that was weird.
The Astroglide?
Yeah, that was weird, but I mean, look. Only thing I know about court is Judge Judy, right? So I'm expecting this kind of laid back ambiance, and when you walk into a federal,
traffic court.
Yeah, it's like how you watch those congressional hearings, like with all the congressmen, and they're up there and they're drilling somebody. The courtroom's like that. Like everybody, like the judge sits like 12 feet up, and then you walk up on his booth, and then the room is huge. The doors are like 15 feet high. And, my friend mentioned to me that it's meant to intimidate you. It's really like...
They want people not lying.
Yeah. You walk in there and you feel like, wow, this is serious. It's a big deal. It's super tense. It's like pin drop quiet.
Yeah.
And so I thought I was going to be cool. And I walked in and I had like a straight anxiety attack, man. By the time I got from the door to the stand, I was shaking, man.
I mean, the most nerve-wracking thing must be like, if you recollect something incorrectly that you think was the truth, and then they're like, that wasn't the truth, and you just committed a felony.
Well, so I had to go in there understanding that I'm in the middle of literally probably the best attorneys in arguably probably in the state,
in the world,
right?
yeah.
In the world,
In the
right?
world,
So I know on one side, I got the federal government with an expectation, right? And then on the other side, I got Diddy team that wants to rip me to shreds if they have to, right? So it's like, how do I
And then
manage
Diddy's sitting there too.
Sitting there saying this guy's coming in, basically trying to contribute to taking my life away.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Dude, that's
And then his like family's there too.
Dude.
Yeah, I knew it was a big deal when his mom came through. It was a big deal. Everyone's outside, and
Dude, all of them are in the courtroom, and when you walk in, because remember, it's the prosecution's witness, you could feel the intense, like who the hell is this guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I threw everybody off because, you
and you've got to say this shit in front of his son.
It's daughters.
Oh, fuck.
And mother and
Is that weird?
What?
So
What?
you're like, yeah,
What?
your dad
Yeah.
like wanted me so badly to fuck his wife. And this
Your dad has on a burqa, pacing back and forth, whacking off. Yeah, I like this shit. Like, I gotta say that. Like I felt like, oh man, this is messed up. Yo, this is messed up. Yeah.
Quick question: does Diddy have a big dick or not a big dick? Who had a bigger dick out of you and Diddy?
So look, man, I know there's another escort walking around talking about he compared. First of all, my instructions was not to look at him in the first place.
Okay.
And if I did from peripheral, I kept it neckline, man. I'm already having.
But he's
a problem
back there jacking
performing.
off, no?
Yeah, but
Was he in the chair?
So he would pace. So he would be,
Pacing's wild.
Yeah, so he it was set where he wasn't necessarily supposed to see me. So I wasn't supposed to see him. So let's say this wall is let's say you and him is me and Cassie, right?
Okay, I'm
so
you.
I'm you. Yeah, no.
I'm you.
He would be me.
He's Cassie.
You no. He would be me.
He's Cassie.
I'm Punisher.
Yeah. You would be Cassie. You gotta make good sounds. No, you don't gotta do that. Right? And so
You're Diddy.
And so this is where Diddy would be. But remember, but
But this close.
No.
Okay, farther away.
Farther away. So
I'm giving it to Cassie.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's basically here, but let's say 7-8 feet further back.
Oh, okay. And it's really dark.
Oh, he's back
it's
there.
really
'cause it's a
dark.
big
Yeah, it's really
it's a fancy hotel room too,
yeah,
right?
it's a big suite, right? So he's further back. Everything's dark. It's candlelit. And so he's behind a chair, right, watching. He has like a bottle of Astroglide on the table.
He's behind a chair.
Not filming.
Yeah. Well,
Like
the table. No,
like sort of like the backwards, like cool teacher chair.
I said that wrong, but that was funny. He was behind a table in a chair, but because of the angle, because he's like on one side, he would get up and pace back and forth. Like,
Was it like a happy
angles.
pace, or was he sort of stressed out, like you weren't doing it right?
Man, I'm not looking, but the pace would be with directions, like move the candle, move this. It was
fuck
all
does he
for
care where the
visual.
candle
Who's the
is?
director?
I think it's visual cues.
But he's not filming.
Not
Not
that
that
I
you
know
know
of. I did get calls probably a couple of weeks ago saying like during closing arguments they showed more video, and they had video timestamp to me being there.
So they did have video of you.
Yeah, I think I was.
Because
That was-
I don't know if you saw the interview to this alternate juror, and they were asking him, and he was on yeah, we saw the videos. He's like, it's pretty tame, to be honest, is what he
Yeah.
said. Because everybody's expecting like these crazy things to be going on, and they're just like, he was like, yeah, it was pretty tame, just a lot of video.
Yeah, I'm expecting a guy like hanging off the ceiling.
Yeah. I mean, I told you it was as far they call regular sex vanilla sex, right? So that's what I said. It was all just very normal stuff you do
With someone else's wife while they watch.
Yeah. That's the part of
which
it.
to some people is quite normal.
Which at this
It's
point,
not that insane.
Yeah.
yeah, at this point, that is normal. I think where everybody went crazy was the
Oil?
hijab. No, the
hijab.
hijab. Yeah, that's what made it
Salam
crazy.
alaikum.
But when you think about it, it makes sense. At least with me, he was going out of his way to hide his identity.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
I know.
I don't think.
Minus the giant things that said "Welcome Diddy."
Oh,
Didn't they have like on TVs and stuff like at some point?
well,
where-
no. This happens normal. Like certain hotels you check into.
Oh, yeah, they say
put the
on the
welcome message.
right.
Yeah, so that's how I found
Oh,
out.
the welcome message was in the room.
was in the room.
I actually misinterpreted that. I thought the idea was the hotel was kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, P. Diddy's here. And then he was kind of like, yo, could you?
Oh no,
It was just like that first screen when you turn on the TV.
Yeah,
that
so-
says welcome.
so-
You turn on the thing and it was like, welcome, Sean Combs.
That's how I
Holy
found out.
shit.
That's how I found out, man. They put me in a room because I'll show up 2 a.m. We might not do anything
Yo.
before, so I'll chill out in the room. And I was like, hey, let me watch TV. And I was just like,
Oh, you have to kill. So you have
was
time to
crazy.
kill? So when
Yeah.
you get there, what are they doing though when you're just sort of dicking around killing time?
So I never know where he's at. Right?
Okay, he's just slinking around.
somewhere, right? And so I'm only dealing with Miss Ventura, and she was cool, man, super cool. Always, hey, what's up? How you been? How's work?
Snacks?
We'll sit, we'll talk. Or for me, you want to order room service? You want to do that? Like, dude, super accommodating, whatever. And and I'll just be like, yo, I'm good. Just call me when you need me, and they'll leave me in the living room.
and just you by yourself.
Just me by
Because
myself.
they made it seem like there was 40 people.
That was never
like when
that.
you're watching the news, you're like, there's 40 people there.
Yeah.
Like it's this whole zoo, and you're like, no, it's just like a giant suite, and it's just the two of them and you.
Yep. Between social media and some of the news networks, they was just sensationalizing everything, I guess, for for what we do, right? Views, likes, you know,
Yeah.
it matters, right? So
Yeah.
everybody was building it up bigger than what it was, but it was just
Well, I guess there was a difference between the hotel parties in New York and his parties at his house in Los Angeles too, right?
well. So
this was like a side freak off.
Well, see, I think that's what everybody commingled, right? You hear about these Diddy parties forever. You know, I've been hearing about them for the last 20 years, easy. And you just assume that when they said freak off, it was going to be something happening at these parties. There
Yeah.
were these rumors that there's a regular party, then you go to a room and it's going crazy. And everybody, including me, I thought
Slipping,
that was
sliding
going to
around.
be in the trial, right? It was just going to be a room with like kid little blow up floaties full of baby oil and everybody's wrestling, you know, having sex.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
That's what I thought. That's why when
A
they
guy
came,
on a big wheel.
when they spoke to me,
Bruce,
I was
Bruce.
like, nah, I missed that. They ain't invite me. Like, so it's no way I thought I was testifying, you know?
Yeah, you're like, no, I just fucked his wife a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So okay,
that's
so
pretty accurate.
basically in the thing, then they come out, then you start banging her, and then he's sort of pacing around, whispering commands, sort of thing.
Yeah, and the commands was subtle, man. Most of the commands was just about the light or the positioning of our bodies so he can see.
Oh, he's like move the.
He's kinda like
come on,
he's the camera,
You gotta know to move your arm, right? Like you know when you're smashing, you gotta move your arm for the camera.
Sometimes it felt like a photo. I don't know if you ever took
Like
a
a-
photo shoot, but sometimes a photo shoot could be the most uncomfortable thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like you just hold that pose, you know, turn away like it.
Legs
so-
behind your head.
Yeah. So
I said both.
yeah. So it started to feel like. Obviously, it was nothing like normal, like a normal sexual flow. It just was not.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
was not.
Did he ever touch you? Like, I don't mean like that. I just mean, did he ever like, you know, just like
Like
a
give you like a nudge.
shoulder? Never like a shoulder rub.
Nah, that would have been a problem.
Little attaboy?
we both,
Attaboy.
Yeah, what if he was
Yeah,
just like,
well-
you're crushing it?
No, thankfully, no, bro.
Just like lightly grazed on your head. Like, good work.
Yeah,
buddy.
like I said in the testimony, the closest he came to any interaction was one time. Almost every time it was in the living room, but one. We went to a bedroom, and we're on the bed, so it's close proximity because he's walking around the bed.
Yeah.
And at some point, I'm doing what I'm doing, and he took a stack of $100 bills and just threw them on the bed, like at the strip club, like.
Yeah.
And we both looked at him like, "Hey, you okay?" And he was like, "Nah, I like that shit." And
Oh, yeah?
yeah,
That was like the real seal of approval right there.
yeah. So I was like, make it better.
So we all know that summer's amazing. We're talking sunshine, road trip, beach days. But can we get honest for a second? If you don't mind, I'd like to get honest because that means one thing, sweat. If you're not wearing the right underwear, it gets real uncomfortable real fast. This episode, we're talking about packages, and it is time to make them look good, fellas. That's why I swear by Undies. Their micro-modal fabric is legit magic. Super soft, breathable, somehow stays cool, even when you got 90 degrees and your AC is losing the battle. We've got everything here. We're talking briefs, boxers, cheeky cuts, bralettes, you name it. Plus, their summer prints are ridiculously fun. Think tropical vibes, popsicles, even pool floaties. Your underwear drawer deserves a vacation. When I'm sitting there and I just got the underwear on, I got the ladies in the room. I might have someone watching in the corner. We might have someone that's paying me watching in the corner.
Sure. I can't relate to this, but I can relate to being sweaty in the summer. Let me
You
tell
can relate to being summer in the summer. I know what it's like to have a guy paying me while I'm having sex in the thing. And the guy's
Sure.
like, you want to look good.
You want to look good or you're not going to get brought back.
You're not going to get brought back. That's why they got style for everyone. MeUndies is a cut for every butt. 20 different styles, 100 different colors and prints, unmatched comfort. MeUndies signature, super soft, micro-modal fabric. We're talking about breathable, stretchy, oh so comfy, making it ideal for all day wear. We're problem-free philosophy. If you're not happy with your first pair, it's on MeUndies. With more than 30 million pairs sold, 90,000 five-star reviews, MeUndies is an essential summer must-have for every drawer. So I got a whole bunch of pairs right now. You are looking good. You know,
Feeling good?
Exactly. The summer, sometimes you just cruise around the house in some boxers. You know what I mean?
You have to.
Maybe you're out on the back porch and you just look, want to just look in front of the whole city and say, "This is my fucking city." You want to be that guy?
Sure.
Just Leonardo DiCaprioing your own
You definitely
porch.
don't want to do that in underwear with holes in them.
You look at what you've built, the doghouse in the corner.
Yeah. If you're like, this is my city, and then you have holes in your underwear, not your city.
It's not your city, man. You don't have anything to do with this. So right now, as a listener of this show, you can score a sizzling summer deal up to 50% off at MeUndies.com/boyscast. Just enter the promo code Boyscast at MeUndies.com/boyscast. Once again, promo code Boyscast for up to 50% off. MeUndies, comfort that's made for the summer. What was the other one you said? You said, oh yeah. And then when basically after you finish, then it would go to the room, and it said in your book that you were suspecting something fishy might have been going on in the room with the semen.
Yeah, and that got confirmed, and Cassie confirmed it on
Cassie confirmed. So after he makes them finish, and then they go into the room, and then Diddy has a field day on your cum.
Yeah, so I have very specific instructions that every time to conclude a session.
You get them in advance?
Well, she would tell me.
She was
right?
like, yeah.
So I would have to orgasm all around the outside of her vagina, not in, just all around the outside. And so I didn't think anything of it, but I noticed that we would start out with towels, sheets. There's plenty of things to wipe up. But right after I did it, he would pop up and leave the room, and then she would jump up and follow him. But she would follow him in a way where you can tell she's trying to
Keep it,
actively
like,
stop it from
dripping
dripping or whatever, and she would rush. So I was just like, "That's odd."
Your dinner's served. Don't worry.
Every time, and then of course she got on the stand and said that she would take it and rub it on his nipples.
Was there baby oil everywhere?
Everywhere.
So the baby oil was accurate, that there was that much baby oil.
Yeah. You had to constantly, if it appeared to dry up a little bit, you had to time out.
On her whole body?
Why do you think they like that? What is that? Why?
Every drop, like
just the shine.
You had
the shine.
Yeah, it had to be something with the shine.
Did it feel better for you? Like, were you liking it, or
no? Because that much of it, it starts to feel almost like gooey, like sticky.
Yeah,
It doesn't feel. As a male stripper, I'm used to using it because you put it on to, try to make your muscles look a little, the lines a little. But this was like an excessive amount. It was a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's
So this is you mentioned. Okay, one of the things that you said in your book was that, like, sometimes you understood that maybe some guys get into the cucking because they couldn't get it up that much. Was that him?
Well, that was my assumption, right?
Right.
Yeah. You see this, billionaire guy, right, with this beautiful girlfriend, and then the first thing you think is why? Like, I didn't. My first thought wasn't to go to, it's for him, right? Like, it's for his own pleasure. I'm thinking has some insecurities, and he wants to make sure his partner is good, but in an environment where it's under his control, Yeah. And honestly, I still believe that to some degree.
Yeah,
I still believe that to some degree, because if you listen to some of the other things said, he was extremely possessive and jealous over her.
Right, with the trainer and stuff. And
like just in general, it was known that you mess with her, he was going to have a serious issue. But at the same time, he's letting guys sleep with her on the regular, but it is completely in his control. And so I don't know if you know it late, but there's another escort out now that's actively saying he witnessed Diddy's size. He's supposed to be.
What does he say? He's happy with it or not happy with it?
No, he's saying that he's very inadequate. And he believes that he was supplementing.
Yeah, that was part of it.
See, to me, if I was in I would think about it the other way around, where it's like, if you're so confident that maybe, like, other dudes banging your chick, you're just like, they'll never be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you had
even the Punisher,
if you had like an 18-incher, you're just.
I probably wouldn't get the guy called the Punisher.
I don't think I wouldn't do
offense.
it either way. But I'm saying, if you're sitting there, you go, no guy could ever pleasure her like me. You go, yeah, you can try. Like, you're that confident in your fucking dick game or something.
Yeah. I'm sure there's guys that go into it with that level of confidence.
Yeah, they probably don't come out of it with that level of confidence, though, huh?
I think a lot of guys probably think it would be hotter until it's actually happening, too, or you just be like, oh, that'd be crazy, and then you actually watch a guy banging her, you're just like, it's not actually crazy, it stinks.
Yeah, he's really, they're really calling that for a reason, huh?
Yeah. Well, she never made that sound with me. What was that sound? Like, it's something that'll give you a cue.
And some little thing, and then you should be like, okay, well, we're breaking up now, that's that.
Yeah, I can never unsee it.
You just walk away and you never come back.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Me, I couldn't do it.
So you couldn't get up, and then you couldn't bust. Those are the two. I've had both. Yeah, those are both the problems that I've been through many times.
So I think when you get to the point where you can't finish, it's usually you're over medicated.
Yeah,
Right?
sometimes.
It's usually every time I experience that, I done took too many pills and now I'm like a petrified tree.
Did you ever get the Dan Blazarian thing where you feel like your heart's gonna explode?
Oh yeah, of course, bro. I said it in the book. I had it one day there. I was like, am I going to keep doing this or am I going to go to the hospital? You know what I'm saying? I'll keep sleeping with the chick. Don't
Especially some people start doing because they go, oh, I'm gonna do coke. I'm gonna fucking do Viagra. Because
they're crazy. They're asking for
it's a bad cocktail, but
attack.
also you start doing drugs like that, and you're just like, what's my other option?
Yeah, no, it's true, man. Like, especially if you take an overdose, like an overdose of sex pills and then other drugs with it, you probably definitely putting yourself at risk.
Yeah,
for sure. Definitely.
Did you have other clients who had similar requests? Like, was this a common thing for guys to be like, come bang my wife?
So not then. This stuff started in
But I'm saying when you were doing this.
Yeah, but but over the last, I want to say 7 years, especially after COVID, it's the most common thing now.
What?
Yo,
Any
I'm
theories?
serious.
What, like they want a guy to come bang their chick?
Constantly, bro. Constantly. I don't know what.
Where did this
the hell-
come from?
I have no idea, man. I have no idea because I've been in this business 30 years and I get calls all the time, like calls for normal parties, but there's always somebody soliciting something. But right now, it's like a daily call.
Wow.
It's a daily call. And I'm talking about just a daily call. That's just from my website. I'm not talking about soliciting me because I was in a trial.
Yes.
I'm just talking about.
Sure. That's just like when
Hey,
you
I just want to hire a guy for my wife. Like I want to hire a guy for my girlfriend. And at the club, I run a club in the city. I get at least.
What's the club in the city you run?
My mail review business is called Hunkomania.
Nice.
So we do
I'm
bachelorette
unfamiliar with it, I
parties.
swear.
Yeah, we do. It's like a bachelorette themed event. It's like
Okay.
Chippendales, but now, right?
Yeah.
But in New York City. But it's usually just groups of women celebrating their bachelorettes. But now I get more and more couples. I get 4 or 5 couples every weekend, and they start out just the guy's getting a couple of dances for his wife. Then all of a sudden they pull a guy over to the side, and I know they're propositioning them for what's up later. It's
What is?
common.
Why is that there's this like influx of that? I know the magazines and all that shit have been like pushing it.
Porn?
being-
Like, is it like porn kind of?
Well, let me tell you the dynamic that I see. I usually see a little bit older, average-looking guys with young, hotter wives.
Right.
Yeah.
And they
And
just
I
can't
re-
give it to them like they used to.
They just can't. I'm telling you, I feel like there's a compensation thing. Look at all the pressure that's put on us, bro. You can't watch a sporting event without seeing Hims, Viagra, Cialis, testosterone boosters.
We're a
and
Hims
then there's
podcast.
always a line in the commercial, and she'll love it too. It's
Sure.
always, so that's psychologically putting pressure
Yeah.
on men's performance issues. So I don't care who you are. If you're a guy in your 40s, even if you're good, you ain't what you was in your 20s.
No, sir.
You're just not, right? You may have more knowledge, but you ain't that thoroughbred no more, right? So it's some guys that know I got this young hot girl. They already feel intimidated with their performance. So it's like, all right, if I let her just go out and do it, now I risk a guy taking her. Her falling in love. Like it being more. And some guys say, well, look, I'm gonna facilitate it, control it, and they feel empowered. And
Well,
then they
that
don't
almost
feel
feels
at
a little
risk.
better in a way than like guys just being like, every guy's just become a cuck for no.
Essentially, they're just like,
Every guy's been
just
like a
their-
feminized
That's like
gay
their
cuck.
sexual proclivity versus.
I think it's more a control satisfaction aspect than it is. I just like live porn. I just like watching my woman get banged.
The
But it's a lot of
humiliation
those.
element.
But it's a lot of those too, man. It's weird.
A lot of
It's
freaks
weird.
out there,
Yeah,
huh?
definitely.
That's interesting that it's gone. That the amount of that has just like gone crazy.
Yeah, without a doubt, man.
What do you think is the best excuse to give to a girl when you can't get it up?
So mine was always, I just train legs in the gym.
Just train
My
legs is nice.
My legs is killing me.
Huge.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was my go-to. Everybody runs the stress things are just crazy at work. You can't, you
Sure.
always.
There's always something.
Yeah, but none of it really works, right? Because when you can't perform, the way women react to it is rejection.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, they're like, I'm something wrong with
Yeah,
me.
so that's going to create just a big issue with their self-esteem. And then forget the extra anxiety it puts on you. Nothing's more emasculating than failing, right?
Yeah, I know. Then you're over the top nice.
Yeah. Then you're trying to compensate.
Probably some girls that think I'm like the nicest guy in the world
Yeah,
just because I
yeah.
couldn't get it up.
and then you lose your sexiness because too nice is not attractive.
Exactly. It's your only option at that point. You can't play it cool with a fucking limp dick.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Unless
You're zero options.
You would just overcompensate with just like a tornado tongue.
I think
That's
you
all
just call him
can
too
do.
drunk. Too drunk is like sort of reasonable.
If you had drinks.
You're having drinks.
Yeah, you're just your
yeah,
baseline
yeah.
is always having drinks. Just to be safe.
Yeah.
I hope you always just have a bunch of like empty
Just
little.
the beer helmet all the time. You're going, it's too crazy. Do you ever try like
Well, because then you hit it in the
testosterone?
morning. I find like morning. If you're never having a problem late at night, morning's usually fine.
Yeah, but then what
you
you-
can tell Diddy like, hey, we need to take a nap, and I'm going back again in the morning.
Sure, but then you have the anxiety. You're like, what happens if you wake up and it's not working out? And then what's your excuse? Like,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, so either way, like, so you asked about testosterone. So a few years back, I got on TRT. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in my 50s, so I got on TRT. But TRT, for some guys, it helps if your issue is low testosterone. But,
Right.
But
But
if
yours
your
is
issue is
Mental.
anxiety. So here's the science behind it, right? When you experience anxiety, your body releases a hormone called cortisol, right? And cortisol constricts your blood vessels.
Boner killer.
Boner killer. So that's all Cialis and Viagra and the pills do is they open your blood vessels a little bit more so you get more flow, but the cortisol is stronger. So if you're having anxiety, it's going to constrict. You're popping these pills thinking the pills are going to work, but the way they open your vessels is not going to overcompensate
Especially if you're just on loops like
for
that.
the anxiety. So a lot of guys who have mental, because my book is about psychological ED, and obviously it's a life story. I tell funny stories,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But it basically breaks down that you'll notice. So every guy experiences this. You might have took a pill or went to mess around with a chick and failed. And then she leaves, it's 2 hours later, and you're watching Sports Center with like a voter, like, yo, where were you when I needed you? And that's just because anxiety left.
Right. Like, do you like you still like when you sleep? Kind of like it would be fine when you sleep, or did you not have them?
So again, that's another thing you pay attention to as you age, right? If,
Are you waking up?
Apparently,
with
it's
one?
a big sign of health.
It's a big deal, yeah. So those morning wood, you're supposed to get like 7 to 15 erections all night long while you sleep, and that's really your body just exercising your penis, right? And it's blood vessels. It's like a muscle. If you don't use it, it'll atrophy. So once you notice that, hey, I'm not getting morning wood anymore, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And you want to try to rectify that as much as possible. So like people joke about penis pumps, right? But that's what penis pumps are for. Like, you supposed to, if you're not getting erections on your
Peanut
arm.
pump actually do anything? I don't get it.
So I used to use a penis pump as a male stripper because it will give you a artificial erection. If you put your penis in a pump and you
Does it
with
actually work?
it will pull it straight, but you're not turned on. So the minute you take it out, it's what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gone. But what the people who use it, the goal is you pump it straight and then you take like a cock ring. Something, and then you put it on a base and it'll hold it. Now it won't be like a flagpole, right? But if you're not getting anything, it'll give you enough.
So it's more like to beef up when you're sort of half chub.
Yeah, but it can give you enough if you get the cock ring on, whatever, where you can actually have intercourse. And most guys, once you get in and start,
It's the lowest trick in the book.
yeah. You get it in, a few strokes. It's like, all right, there we go.
Right.
Like
Just
you'll
enough to
get
get
it
you
together.
started.
Yeah, it's enough to get you started.
finger
It's like
sling.
it's like a push start on a car. You just kind of get behind there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they get it on a hill, and it's like, oh, here we go. Right. So, but with using it for medical reasons, if you're not getting erections at all, and you need to use this at least once a day for 20 minutes because it keeps your blood vessels expanded, it keeps the skin elastic. And seriously, bro, if you go long periods of time without getting an erection, you will shrink. It will atrophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you will lose. So guys, like obviously I got an implant, right? So
What? To be completely honest,
got a lot
I
of
don't
questions
get
about
the implant.
Yeah, no, well,
I read the section about the implant like 3 times, and I chat GPT'd, and I still was just like, what is this?
All right, we'll
You
break
press
that
a
down.
button and you get a boner?
Kind of.
fuck?
Kind of. It's more like. All right, so we'll jump there, right?
Okay,
So-
fine. Yeah. I know we're jumping around. But
Yeah, no, it's cool. So the way the implant works, so on either side of your pee hole, all the way up from the base to the tip, right? We have something called a corpus, and it's like 2 straws, right? And so those straws is what fill up with blood to give you an erection. So I don't know if you ever noticed, but on your testicles, there's like a crease.
Yeah,
Right?
a seam like a baseball.
So they literally make a little small incision in that seam, and they can access the bottom of these straws. So then they take 2 cylinders and they put it up those straws from the base to the tip, and then they drop a little pump. The pump is small, and it feels like you have a third testy, right?
Okay.
So you got 3 nuts. It feels like you got 3 nuts. And you could literally, and then they take a reservoir where they put saline, the same thing that's in breast implants, and they put it in a reservoir. And apparently we have some space by our bladder that they just put it in and sit it there.
Yeah.
And so when I'm ready to get erection, I'm chilling, I'm talking to girl, I'm doing the Al Bundy, my hands on the thing, and I'm just pumping my balls. Like,
So you press it. It's not like
Can
you
you
press it
overpump
once
it?
and it goes. I'm picturing you press it once and it goes.
no. You can. It's each press is putting fluid in the cylinders, so I can.
So you
go-
could overpump it by accident.
Well, you're gonna run out of
Fluid.
Blood.
So they
at
put
some
enough
point.
fluid.
They put enough fluid to give you I mean, seriously, man, it's the best. The best erection you ever had in your life.
it's like you think in the future everyone's going to be juiced up on these.
absolutely. Why not, man? The only thing is nobody's.
Is there any way that they could make the pump like in your hand so you could do it without touching it?
But no,
Like,
I
you know
will
what?
tell you this.
Or like the Reebok
there's
So you could
basketball?
be just standing there and just go.
No, dude, they're coming up with one that you can actually connect to your phone. You could go in the app and be like,
Come on.
I swear to you, man, I wouldn't get it because
you don't wanna be like the guinea
I'm with a
pig.
chick and my phone died.
I
lost my phone. We gotta go
You got
back.
a charger? She's like USB-C or Lightning. You're like, fuck Lightning.
Yeah, so I wasn't no parts of that one. But yeah, man, they coming out with one where on the app you could just.
What does that cost?
I didn't look into it, bro.
Yours was
I'm
30K,
cool with
right?
manual, yeah, and mind you, I was on the high end, right? Because I used at the time what was considered the best doctor.
You don't want to mess around with that shit.
Nah, I'm
and this
not
is in New
looking-
York too. You didn't go to Turkey.
Yeah. I'm not looking for a bargain on somebody slicing open my junk, right?
Yeah.
But there are really good doctors. There was a guy that's really good, and he at the time he was in the Atlanta area, and he was like 16 grand.
You could have got a cheaper one.
Yeah, I could have. But I wasn't playing.
Yeah,
and
that's
then-
not the thing you skimp on.
Yeah, and then the good thing is it's all of this stuff. I got care credit. I think I put 12 grand down. I put 20 on a card, and I got a penis note.
Right. Yeah, you gotta know.
and the
Will
best thing is-
they repossess it? if
Oh
you
no,
don't pay?
but hey, you could try.
Yeah, you can't.
So is that big in like the stripper world now? Like guys,
It's more.
male stripper?
It's bigger in the porn world.
porn world. Yeah.
Yeah, like male strippers, you're not, you're just dancing, right?
Right.
But I know a lot of guys they don't say it. Obviously, you know, I got a couple of friends that do porn because a friend that did porn is the one that told me to get it, and he was also like, "Look, don't tell nobody about it. It's a big secret, you know, or everybody's gonna get it, right? Because
Yeah.
it is.
This is kind of like blood doping in Tour de France.
This guy's crabs in a bucket. He doesn't want anyone else.
yeah. It's a cheat.
Scarcity mindset on this friend of yours.
But it's a cheat sheet, man. It's a cheat
Yeah.
sheet. It's a cheat sheet. Like it's
and it lasts for life, or do you have to get it kind of replaced?
So supposedly the lifespan on them is
Bionic dick. It's crazy.
is like 20 years.
20
right?
years. That's not bad.
But
Didn't you say you got your dad on one too?
oh yeah, my dad. Forget about it.
So your dad's. How old's your dad?
He's 70 now.
He just.
Yeah, he got it at 68. You can't tell him that.
That is crazy though. Dating a girl after her ex-boyfriend had a fucking bionic piece.
Oh, you done?
it's
Done. That's why I said it's not fair. It's
It is not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. Like
the last guy.
like so I'll give you like a real
Crazy.
and I'm not trying to necessarily sales pitch them, but everybody.
Yeah, I always thought your company.
Everybody's been with a girl, right? And you're having sex, right? And you ever had that moment where
Not everybody, but most.
yeah. You ever had that moment where you're about to have orgasm and she feels it, and then she like you're about to come, she goes, "Oh my God, I am too." So why that happens is right before you, right before you orgasm, you usually get an extra like jolt of stiffness.
So you can just feel,
yeah, and she feels that extra joint of stiffness, and then it excites her and it pushes her over the top. With the pump, I had girls that I was dealing with before, right? And let's say I would get them maybe to come.
Oh, you're saying they would feel the jolt beforehand?
Yeah, and they would. So and then after, because that jolt they feel, I'm always there. So now the same girl is like every 10th stroke, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I might get them from 0 to 1.
Yeah, because it's
I'm more Peter Thiel. 0 to 1.
Yeah, because it's the thing is like it's like steel, man. It's like yeah, man. Top 3 decisions of my life.
That's so crazy, man. There's 75-year-old guys out there walking out with just like a perfect bionic fucking boner.
Yeah, my dad is like, and remember I said there's different levels, right? So my dad, he'll call me up and says, "Yeah,
crank this puppy to 11."
Yeah, no. So he to walk around because he
like
realizes
Back to the Future. He can't go any higher.
He realizes now that women stare at bulges, right?
Okay.
So he'll call me up and say, "Yeah, I was walking around today. I had it like on a 7. The chicks was going crazy."
He's walking around soft, just like you just walking around with put it at a 3.
Yeah, he'll put it at a certain thing. So hey,
this is crazy.
This is what we're up against here.
Yeah, my dad. So my dad, I swear, my dad sends me Amazon links like gray sweatpants. Yeah, I'm picking these up this week. Got to put it on proper display, like.
So that's the best part, is that you can just keep yourself at like a 2 or 3 at all times.
Yeah, and then you walking around like, yeah, and then
chubbed up.
And then the thing about it is because
I have big balls too, so I don't like to go too flaccid in front of a chick.
Yeah, and it would hide the thing pretty good.
I usually have to get a little bit chubbed, because
But here's another thing, right? You always pretty much keep your entire length within maybe a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. So let's say if a normal guy is 5 inches, and then when he's not erect, he drops to 2, right? If you're implanted, you're gonna go from 5 inches to 4 1/4. So it's either going to be rigid or
for the
it's gonna be
stripper guy. It's like where you're trying to make your flaccid look good. You're cooking.
Yeah,
I hate. I respect it, and honestly, I could get in the game.
Yeah,
which you do make a good case, but I don't like the fact that that's the competition. Everyone's juicing.
Yeah, basically,
it's like you're trying to win the Tour de France right now, and you're just like, oh, I'm going to be all natty, and it's like, have fun, bud.
Well, I usually just say I'm trying to hit 73 home runs every time.
Barry Bond.
Yeah, 73.
Barry Boner.
There you go.
Barry Bone.
Barry Boner. Yeah, Barry Boner.
Actually is Barry Bonds.
Yeah, my bat is juice, bro.
And Sammy Gilmore.
I did not think that's how that worked. I always thought it was like one of those like snap bracelets from the 90s where you just kind of like snapped it and you unsnapped it.
Yeah. So, but see, this is new technology, right?
Yeah.
It was brutal in the past. In the past,
some people took some bad boner.
Well, that joke about the guy who died. Did he die? The guy,
Alud Alejandro. He's a billionaire. Got like this is the dick. This is the dick enlargements though.
Oh yeah.
But he got the dick enlargement and died on the surgery, and people were just getting rocked. And this was like billionaire guy too.
Yeah. So the enlargement stuff usually is like fat injections and stuff like that, where you can run into some sort of like the weight. If they inject the fat in the wrong scenario, it can get into like your bloodstream,
gets infected or something.
So those are risky, right? And even if you're gonna do that, right, you do fillers.
Yeah.
Like fillers are safe, right?
That's what the gay guys are all doing, apparently.
Yeah, you do the fillers.
What I hear,
you do the fillers. Now the fillers could be costly, right? Because they're
always
not permanent.
It. It's like with girls with their lips.
Yeah, they're not permanent. Yeah, it'll last a year.
You're doing it
forever.
and you're definitely not going back. Like once you do the filler, you're not just being like, yeah, I'll go back to how it was.
Yeah, and then, but what you'll understand.
It's a gay job to be the guy that does the fillers, just fixing fucking needles and guys' dicks all day long.
It's an honest day's work.
Yeah, but so that a lot of guys do that, and then there's another thing called well, one of the brands of it was called Panoma, right? And that's a sleeve. Which I got a couple of buddies with this, where when
The whole crew's bricked up.
you know when the
These guys walk into the bar.
so when like the toilet paper runs out and you got that cardboard like circle thing.
Yeah.
So imagine that cut in half. So they take that kind of like half thing and they'll put a incision at the base and they'll just literally slide that in. And so a guy instantly go from like a hot dog to a hot sausage. Instantly. Then they fill you up whatever, and then you walk around with just extra added girth, but it's like a filler sleeve that's put in the inside. So it's pretty popular. A lot of guys, but it's complications with that too.
Yours is the safer version of all this.
Yeah. So mine doesn't give you any size. It doesn't give you anything. It just gives you like your best erection every time, all the time, with unlimited stamina. Like you can go forever. It's the only risk is with any surgery is infection, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you just want to get a doctor that's experienced, that has done this a bunch of times, to just make sure nothing gets infected.
Now, does it work, like, because now you probably have this crazy confidence that you're like, this thing never fails. So then do you sometimes, like, does it work without it now?
Well, no. So I control it.
I agree with that. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, are you like, because I have this fail safe that sometimes you try and go like,
that's the only downside, right? So I would tell a guy, look, if you're working fine, don't be greedy. You know, don't be greedy.
It's always waiting for you.
Yeah, it'll be here. You know what I'm saying? Don't jump the line, right?
Yeah.
Just keep doing what you're doing. This is just an option because there's 3 parts to an erection, right? You get, obviously the straws I told you, that's one part, which is supplementing that. Then there's a second erection you get, which is just the fullness. So blood rushes for the fullness. And then the last one is the glands, the tip. All of these have their own separate erection, right? So I still get the tip, I still get the spongy, but the length is controlled by me.
Gotcha.
And so I can feel aroused, I can feel blood rushing, but I'm not gonna get stiff anymore on my own. I gave that up. I gotta hit the Reebok pump. Right? Right? Yeah. I gotta hit the Reebok pump, right? So I wouldn't say, hey, just jump to this, right? But it is an option for guys that it's like you're in trouble. And then you got guys that like this is a good option for guys with diabetes.
Yeah.
Right? You get a good doctor and, they'll take, my dad has a good friend who my dad told him about it and he was going through issues with his marriage and this was an option for his diabetes. And literally.
Because sometimes the problem is that it's that the wife got grosser too.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not. It does not always put the blame on the men.
Yeah. But I mean, you gotta take one for the team. You gotta cover up and just get in there, bro.
Have you ever, when you were getting propositioned in the male stripper world, like you had situations like Diddy where the girl was just like a beast?
So I couldn't.
You couldn't. See, I've taken out some
work.
beasts for
That'd be
free.
a tough thing to decline.
I wouldn't be able to do. I wouldn't.
You really couldn't?
Yeah, nah, man. Once. I was always picky anyway, and going into a certain environment is but so much you can fake it, man. Like I needed to be connected.
Did you know what Cassie looked like before you went there?
So I knew of her. She greeted me at the door, but I didn't recognize her. Like her.
But I'm saying, but like when, like in a situation like that, when she's got you off of like your website, right?
Yeah.
Like, does she have to send a photo of her?
Well, no, she didn't because I got called to just do a party.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm showing up to a room.
Yeah. You're saying they call you to a party, and then basically every now and then someone will offer you money to do more.
Yeah. So this is how women are not overt when they want sex, right? So how they solicit is, do you do one-on-ones? Or they'll say, hey, do you do massages, right? And so if a woman's asking you to dance for her one-on-one,
what's going on
it.
next?
Yeah, it's more to it, right? So in those scenarios where I was propositioned and I definitely took it, I would ask them to send a picture.
Really?
Yeah, and if they sent a picture and
see, I would have thought that was the part. The game. What the game's the game. If you're like a male escort, sometimes you're just like, it's just mostly beat chicks.
Well, yeah, but so that's a male escort for a company. So when you're going for a company and the company gets a percentage, if you turn stuff down, they're not going to give you work anymore.
Yeah.
I always advertise as a
You're male stripper.
It's my own website. I get the calls.
So you just did no beats, eh? You were just like, why are hot girls messaging for fucking dick like that?
Because sometimes it's complicated, right? Sometimes women, a chick goes on Tinder and she swipes a gazillion times and shows up. It's not the guy. You know what I'm saying? The conversation's terrible.
Circumstances.
And then we have this. We just have this assumption that very attractive women are constantly being approached by men they like.
Really attractive women, probably almost a little less. Like a solid 8'5", she's getting dick thrown at her nonstop.
Yeah. But it also depends on environment, right? Because a lot of times women are so standoffish, right? When they're out and about. It'll stop it, right?
They give the vibe of leave me alone.
They give the leave me alone vibe. So a lot of guys, I don't like rejection, right? I rarely approach women, you know what I'm saying? Because nobody wants to feel that. So they go through periods of time where the guys they would be attracted to are not interested. The guys that are, they don't want. So it's like, I have needs.
Sure.
And they'll get a moment and say, well, you know what? I'm going to call a guy and have a good night or whatever. And then they always frame it as just companionship, but it can go there.
Yeah. Is there ever a thing how it's in New York where it's these rich, high profile, powerful CEOs? Is there similar with women?
Good question.
Where they're ever these super rich, I'm too busy to even spend time getting dick down. I just need a guy to come in here.
All the time. And a lot of time these women do it on trips.
Basically think they're men.
Yeah. Trips. So similar how I told you at the club sometime I see the couples come in, I will see some of the hottest. You can tell she's doing well in life. She got on the presidential Rolex and this, and she'll come to a male strip club by herself. You know what that is.
Yeah.
When she walks in by herself, 99% of the time, she's going to leave with a guy or meet up with him later.
So that's what she offers them. She says, hey, come back to my hotel.
Yeah. But the only thing about that situation...
Do you do that stuff a lot?
If I can. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually running
I thought maybe you were out of the game a little bit now, you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, look, I'm talking about these women be hot, bro. It's not even about how much. It's about, can I go? You know what I'm saying? Pick me. It's not even from a business standpoint.
But she could have also done that at a bar. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, but she has a highly likelihood to come. Male dancers, all the guys are going to be in shape. They're used to dealing with women. They're used to the vibe. So it's probably an easy pick. It's easier to pick.
Yeah, it's just less hassle.
Less hassle. Yeah.
Interesting.
I would have definitely thought it was just real beasts.
I'm sure that's
I'm surprised
segment of the market. I mean, the guys who you're saying work for the services where they can't turn it down. That's basically you're like a plumber at that point. That's just dirty jobs with Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
The only plug your nose and just get to work.
The only thing you get from the agency, right, is any escort agency, they can't promise sex.
Legally.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
legally they can't. So every guy that's sent out, it's for time, right?
Just
it's companionship. So you can get there and...
I guess guys go to a strip club and they pay a girl to kind of just be around,
That's what a strip club is.
I don't know. It's so weird though. Dude, I went to we went to a strip club a bit ago with a bunch of people, and it was the one girl kept coming out to me and she was just like, oh yeah, where are you from? And she was telling me, he's like, yeah, I just moved here, this and that, and chat. And she was like, yeah, and I got a place over down the thing. And I was like, oh, what area do you live in? I live in that. And I go, beat it. I was crazy to me. I was just literally had to I was trying to avoid this girl. I was just I could get this every time,
just some chit chat.
Yeah, I thought it was a weird thing where why would a guy be paying a girl for that? I thought that's what we're paying not to do.
Yeah, but I mean, you got some guys in the corporate.
Let's shut it up.
Some guys are literally I don't talk to women.
Yeah, they get no
nothing.
Interaction, man.
Yeah,
and definitely not friendly interaction.
Yeah, a friendly hot woman talking to you.
Where's that? Where does that happen at? Right?
Yeah.
If you're not somebody in that moment in a public eye. It doesn't happen. Like, you guys are in a public forum, so the focus is going to be on you. I'm the male stripper, so women are going to talk to me. But the average guy, he doesn't have hot girls striking up random conversation with him. It never happens.
Well, then my message to the average guy is it's not as good as you think it is. You're not
Grass is always greener, boys.
You're not missing out on that much with these these girls chatting to you about their
complaining about their equinox.
chatting to you, about the amenities being closed in their building. I don't know.
It's you get, but some guys need that, man.
Yeah.
You get no female interaction.
I guess, yeah. What a perfect episode to talk about getting jacked. It is summertime. It is time to get shredded. It's time to do it right. And it's time to do it without wasting a ton of money, all right? Whether you're hitting plateaus, you're bored with your current workout routine, you're new to fitness, Fitbod sets you up with a customized workout plan tailored to your fitness goals. No need for a personal trainer. You're just trying to look shredded and you don't want to spend the money. You don't want to have to set a time limit for some guy that you're going to meet
Put
up
it in
with.
a schedule. And
And then forget, then things come up.
And they still charge you.
They still charge you and you're on the go. And sometimes, not to mention, I don't want to have to go here, but certain people have had where, for example, they'll be buying a personal trainer for themselves and their wife. And that has led to problems.
Yes,
for those
that
people.
has. Do not fall. This app will not bang your wife.
The app's not going to sleep with your wife.
No.
And make you pay for it.
And make you pay for it. No.
No, sir. Fitbod takes the guesswork out and the guesswork about
A lot of guesswork removed.
Tracks your progress so you can get the most out of your workout routine. So it makes my workout easier. I can put in the equipment that's at my gym. It can keep track of what muscles I've worked out, and it can keep things interesting. I have friends, I have family that has started trying the app, especially once we started doing it on the podcast. A lot of fans of the podcast have been getting in shape using the app, not meeting up with a personal trainer that might
defile your wife.
Fitbod, me and Danny are both using it. Creates personalized workout routine based on your goals, fitness level, available equipment. Workouts that adapt as you grow. So each workout challenging enough to push you to make progress. Tracks your muscle recovery. It has been fine-tuned by certified personal trainers. You can level up your workouts and customize fitness plans that work for you with over 1,000 demonstration videos. So get in shape this summer with Fitbod. Join Fitbod today. Get your personalized workout plan. 25% off your subscription. Try the app free for 7 days at fitbod.me/boyscast. That is fitbod.me/boyscast. Well, just to jump back to like the Diddy the trial for like a second. When the actual verdict happened, were you surprised by it, or is that what you thought it was going to shake down?
That's what I thought. I actually thought that was going to happen. Like it's just the crimes we've been seeing and hearing about is domestic violence and assault and those type of things. And I always thought it was going to be difficult to take a guy who's in a relationship with a woman for 10 years, right? There are thousands of text messages between them outside of the sex stuff. I love you, I care about you mutually. And then there's hundreds of text messages where she's consenting to the sexual activity. I can't wait. Oh, it's going to be so hot. This was so hot. I'm so horny, right? And then you're going to ask the jury to pluck a couple of occasions out where she might not have wanted to, and he actively got her to, and then say that's sex trafficking.
Sure.
I always thought that was a stretch.
Sex trafficking with a guy feels just like harder to get people to like have any sympathy. Like if you're talking about, we're sex trafficking this like woman and she's against her will, but you're like a dude came across the border to like bang your wife. You're just
but that's what he got convicted of.
Yeah, and it's hard for anyone to like give a shit.
That's what he got convicted. And the crazy thing about it is the sentencing guidelines is up to 10 years for each count. And the minimum is 21 to 26 months.
That's crazy. Yeah.
What do you think the reason is that they just have these? This is kind of what I was thinking, but I don't know if it's right. But in my opinion, I was like, they have a million of these laws that they can almost just arrest anyone for anything at all, anytime. But then once they start to like try to get you for something, they start throwing these ones in.
Yeah,
I think they have these gray area laws that they can
Yeah.
apply
I mean,
way
the
they
wire
want to.
laws are like everybody gets busted on those, and it's literally
that?
like the wire laws are like if you use the wires to communicate and commit a crime, then they have these literally it's like the wires. Like if you like call somebody in a different state and do some sort of crime, they have a separate crime. Like not only did you commit the crime, but then they're like using the wires to commit the crime.
Yeah.
It's like an old law, but they
all
still
these charges. So what I think is going on now is I really think this is like the O.J. Simpson thing, right? How O.J. beat the murder case, but then he got 33 years for going to get his own stuff.
Yeah, the
right?
jerseys.
So it's
Martin Shkreli got the same thing.
Yeah, so it's like an underlying thing where we know this guy is guilty of crimes, but we can't get him.
We'll get them for something.
We'll get
And they
them
spent
for
so much
something.
money and made
Yeah.
such a show out of it. And
They said it was the most expensive prostitution trial of all
Yeah, it's
time.
supposed to be like $25 million, right? That they spent
So,
on
I mean, imagine that they spent $25 million and they're just like, we lost, we got nothing. And you're like, okay, that's
Yeah.
such a black eye for them.
Yeah, so that's why even though something that we've all done, like flying girls out, you know what I'm saying? Like
Sure.
even something that is kind of done daily in our society, he could end up getting 5. If he ends up getting 5-10 years, I feel like it's, well, we couldn't get you on domestic violence, we couldn't get you on the other things, so now you're gonna get a stiff.
I wonder if like
penalty.
professional athletes are seeing this and they're like, all right, no more of this business.
Oh, they're scared to death.
they must
right,
be.
right now.
They're like,
everybody,
I'm guilty of sex trafficking.
yeah, like if you coming to see me, buy your own ticket.
Yeah,
You know what
for
I'm
sure.
saying? Buy your own ticket.
Yeah, I'm not I'm
Yeah.
not reimbursing you legally.
Yeah.
I can't.
Or if I do reimburse you, I'm gonna reimburse you in a different way. I didn't give you the money back for that ticket. You know what I'm saying? But
Use your own
that-
Sky Miles account. all that stuff.
It ain't gonna be on mine because that's what really sealed them. They found an American Express card with him buying the plane tickets, making the accommodation on
that's
his card.
Yeah, stop it. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's literally like. Yeah.
Do you think a part of me too also feels like when this first started happening, it was like maybe like 4 years ago when they started, like she had the criminal trial or like the non-criminal trial, and then they had the criminal trial, and it felt like that was really in the like heat of like Me Too and the heat of like maybe going over the top on those kind of trials. And then while in the course of the trial happening, that stuff kind of died down a little bit too.
Yeah.
So maybe they went a little greedy because of the moment that it was happening in.
Yeah, from what I understand, the prosecutor that went after.
James Comey's daughter, I believe.
Well, no, it was a guy before that.
Oh, it was a guy before that.
Yeah, and I think that guy was actively involved in the R. Kelly.
So he was cooking after his last.
Yeah, and so you can fact check this, but what was told to me was he was associated with the Kamala Harris regime. So it was like, so the story is he was trying to make the biggest name for himself. Because if he boosted his
He might be the attorney general or something.
exactly
Right.
exactly.
So he was going for big name.
he was going for big names.
He wanted scalps.
Yeah.
He was going for big names. That was told to me, and that also
Makes sense.
just made sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just made sense. And
It's so crazy to be like in jail for life because someone made an example of you for their career.
Dude, happens like probably in this country, like all the time.
yeah,
Especially in this country. It's like probably happens a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, this is like the most incarcerated people per capita in the world.
So you think that there was like a guy trying to make a name for himself, sort of?
That video. What was the context of that video getting? Because I know it's like what Diddy tried to buy that video in the like security.
Yeah,
footage
but they couldn't even use it as bribery, right? Because he did give whoever the security person was that was charged with, he did give them $100,000 for the video. But why it didn't hold up in case, they wanted to use that for RICO for bribery, but there was no police calls.
right.
So if the police are called and then he says, give me the tape, that's bribery and that's hiding evidence, right? But because there was no police call,
You're allowed to buy the video.
yeah, I don't want this getting out, right? Like, he's
Yeah.
a celebrity. He doesn't want that getting out. But a lot of these things is what they were trying to spin into the case that wasn't.
Why didn't he make you sign an NDA? I was just thinking that, like, when you first went there, why wouldn't it be like, you hear about like Drake and Bieber and these guys, and they have parties, and people even less famous than that, they have parties, and it's like, what first thing that happens is a girl goes up to the guy's room, she signs an NDA.
Oh, I'll tell you why 100%, because he was hiding his identity with the hijab.
Didn't do a good job of it because on the TV.
He did, yeah, the TVs. He messed up because I literally gave up. I was like, I don't know who these people
you think
are.
at one point he just like looked over, sees the TV, and he's like, oh fuck.
I think what probably happened, because it was shortly out. Because my involvement was 2.5 years. I did not
2.5 years, you no clue.
No, a year, like 15 months. 15 months in.
Was there subtle clues looking back? Like while he was watching, he was like humming "Bad Boys for Life." Like looking back, there was clues.
Nah, it didn't. But obviously, the minute I saw it, I'm thinking the complexion, the height, you know what I'm saying, the body type or whatever. It's like, this was, and then I felt like the dunce of dunce because I followed the dude on Instagram. Like, so
you were watching this guy like, oh, Diddy's in New York. Anyways, I'm going to be going to this hotel tonight.
This is at the Plaza Hotel. Anyways, I'm also going to the Plaza Hotel.
Yo, man, I felt.
Did you tell people like once you found out, like your friends, were you like, can you get a load of this?
I told a very small group of people
because you can't be kissing and telling.
I mean, that would be and you got to tell somebody.
Yeah, I got to tell somebody. But come on, man, I'm going to my buddies like, yo, bro, you'll never believe this, but Diddy's paying me to bang Cassie, and it's like, sure, yeah.
Oh, no one even.
All right,
they wouldn't even believe.
Yeah, sure, yeah. That's what's happening, And then I got like the vindication of life when the case came out. He was like, dude, he was telling the truth, like, you know what I'm saying? So that was probably one of the silver linings where it's like, I'm like all my stories are credible now. I could say I just had sex with a Martian, and it's like, really, what planet? My credibility's through the roof.
That's so funny. They wouldn't believe you. Like, come on, man.
I mean, that is crazy story.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty unbelievable. But
do you think there is? I don't know. Do you ever hear that like a lot of people will say all these rappers are gay? Like people say Jay-Z's gay and like all that stuff. Do you really buy into any of that conspiracy?
No.
There's like
no, I don't.
Because you don't even think Diddy's gay. You think he was just had some weird shit.
Well, I mean, look, man. All of these
must be a little gay.
Look, listen. Right now. Every and anybody who had something to say about Diddy has gotten on a platform and said it, right?
True.
And we're not hearing people coming forward saying...
Yeah, you'd think if there was some like male escorts or something, like some like gay escorts...
Somebody would have told their stories. Somebody would,
or they would have been involved in the case in some capacity.
In some capacity. And the gayest thing that we've heard is the nipple lathering,
right? But that he could
not 0% gay.
But you could be gay, but you're not like you could be like clearly he's kind of gay, but he's not doing the stuff, you know?
Yeah, he's not physically interacting with males. Like there's just nobody saying that.
Do you think this is like a loss for 50 Cent? Because 50 Cent was sort of big on the idea that he was going away forever and everything. Because you're like a New York guy, right?
Yeah.
Sort of a New York rivalry between 50 Cent and P. Diddy.
Well, I mean, look, one of the women on the stand is allegedly 50 Cent's baby mom. So if you got a
Daphne?
guy she has 50 Cent's child.
Yeah.
So if you are, listen, got egos, right? You know, you
especially at that level.
Somebody somebody you associate with that you don't really get along with. Now he's with your ex. That got your kid, and then doing the most egregious sexual stuff to her, like that gotta feel like you were connected to this woman for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
right. So I'm sure that's not a comfortable scenario, and you know,
crappy.
Yeah, that's crappy. And so what I'm understanding, and you know, I see everything now. A long time ago, when 50 got in the business, he ended up dating one of Diddy's longtime girlfriends.
Yeah.
So this is almost like that.
Seems like such
beer.
a seems like
hold
similar.
My beer. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, hold my
it's
beer.
Always
like
about
I got
chicks,
you.
Yeah, but it seems like similar to like the NBA and stuff, where you're like, there's this tiny pool of women available in these like scenes. You know, like you hear about that in like the NBA, where like literally there's like 10 chicks and they just get passed around. They're like, yeah, like Zion Williamson's girlfriend has been with like 5 other guys in the NBA, and they're just like they're around.
The male stripper community have that, where you guys all have like your like it's a little pool of groupies that all the guys are dating.
It used to be, not as much, but yeah, it used
the
to
internet.
be.
Do you think the internet changed that?
So the internet has downsized the male stripper business for whatever reason. You know, it's I think it's too much accessibility all the way around.
Yeah.
Female strippers, male strippers, is just the accessibility to nudity and sex and porn is so oversaturated now, right? That it's not like a big deal the way it used to, you know?
Yeah. Do you guys ever get like some powerful woman in Dubai flying you out to shit on them?
The reverse.
The reverse.
Yeah, I didn't get that call.
Or anybody you know?
Call, yeah.
Yeah, they want the girl, the princess.
What do they call it? The Cleveland steamer? Like,
Cleveland
the Cleveland steamer.
Yeah,
the Cleveland steamer. The Cleveland steamer.
I felt like a big part of what you were talking about is just in general, like kind of like general masculinity. And you were kind of talking about Andrew Tate in the book versus, you know, feminism and where it's at right now. Do you think that there's kind of like a push against masculinity? Do you think it's coming back? Where do you stand on that conversation? Because you sort of obviously thought about that stuff a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, look, guys like Andrew Tate and the red pill and all of that, it's needed, right? It's needed because whether you agree with the message in totality, like there is almost a uncomfortable place being placed on just being a man, right? Just if you react like a man reacts, you're toxic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So even my,
Which is what? What do you think the normal way a man reacts is?
like you can't even look as appropriate as or inappropriate it was. You can't even a woman walking down the street. You can't even compliment her without a risk of, you know what I'm saying?
Being like on the internet.
Yeah. Like,
and it's funny because I was doing a joke about it, and then I would ask like, and some women would literally be like, I was doing a joke about catcalling, and then some women would be like, "It kind of sucks. I don't get catcalled anymore." Like some of them would be like admitting it. They go, "You know, I kind of liked it from time to time."
Yeah.
But then the other ones are just like, "No, you can never do it." And then
well, because it's that level of control, right? If you catcall a woman that likes you, it's fine.
Yeah.
If you catcall a woman that's not into you, now you're toxic
Creep.
and you're
Right.
gross
Creep,
and you're
yeah.
a creep, right? And so just being in a simple dynamic where it's like, dag, man, you have to like almost mute, right? Your nature, right? Your nature has to be muted, you know, to just survive in a place where
To
you're
be
not at risk.
socialized.
Yeah, to be socialized. And
But they're trying to socialize you a little too hard, maybe.
yeah, well, but that's what it is. So we let the guys like Tate and them go over the top, and then hopefully we could fall somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So
They went over the top their way. He went over the top, and
Maybe
somehow we could just get back
in
to
the middle. But
There is something was like as a guy when you kind of like slowly get rid of these little things that are, you know, like maybe like their aggression, maybe it's fucking a lot of chicks, maybe it's you know, that you kind of like are like too wild, maybe it's that your opinions are too crazy. It's like when you get rid of them like little by little and it all seems like nothing, and then you just like kind of wake up and you're just like fucking antsy and depressed or something,
And, dude,
and you
you
don't
know-
even realize you like got rid of all this stuff that was like necessary or something.
bro, what you're saying is you completely lose yourself. You don't know who you are.
Yeah, and then you wake up and you're just like floating or something, and it's just like
yeah, like all your
weird
authenticity
feeling.
is gone. You're
Yeah.
just a whole bunch of do's and don'ts that you try to live by on a daily basis, and it's like that's what I went through, man. I got so trained, and I'm a male stripper, right? And I got trained to the do's and don'ts. And don't talk, don't raise your voice, don't speak this way. You have to communicate this way. You have to be empathizing the feelings, and you have to, you know what I'm saying? It's yo, what is
like
what is
when Me
going
Too was
on?
happening, was there like a thing among male strippers where they're like, we got to tone this back a bit?
Oh yeah, it killed the business. Like
Yeah.
a male strip
Oh, really?
club. Yeah, male strip club used to be just like a female strip club, where you had your general area, but you had private lap dance areas. You can do dances that were sexy and could actually turn a woman on. And now everything has to be like
went corporate.
Like, you guys got like an HR department.
all the interactions have to be
Wearing the construction
public
outfit in the
eye.
fire.
Yeah, like they rip the corny ripped the shirt and poured a bottle of water. like there's like you had to make it like telegram
Over the
stripper,
top.
because if you're at risk if you go into let's say a private place. just you and a girl, and you dance.
that is sketchy.
Now it's just your word against hers.
And if she's just like, you went over the top, and you're like, this is what I do, and she goes, no, that was too much for me.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy.
That's my move. Yeah, you're like he put his crotch in my face. You're like, yeah, that's.
Even worse. It doesn't even have to be that. A woman could go one-on-one, get a dance with a guy that she's fine with, and come back out, and her friend says, "Oh my God, you let him do that to you?" She goes, "Oh, I didn't know he was going to do that. He just did it," and she can get shamed into now
saying like, oh, actually, yeah. She's like, oh, actually, no, I'm actually a victim of this. And
has any of that happened? Has there been scenarios like that?
Hell yeah, man.
Oh.
That's why in my club, bro, I had to cut everything. Everything is just dance on the floor, you know.
And the glass casing.
Yeah. No, what I want to do is, so like if it's a group of 5 women here, normally you would take the girl and you would take her to a couch to the side. No, you want to dance right here. So all her friends are witnessing. Yeah. Everybody can see. All the cameras there is right in the middle of the floor. So if there's anything uncomfortable, there's a ton of reasoning and witnesses to not say, well, he forced, I said stop, he kept going. Like, you just got to be prepared for all of that.
Can you get like consent forms? Like, is that even?
That doesn't matter, man.
Yeah, I guess you can't consent to a crime. So
it doesn't matter. Like everything is consented till someone says no.
That doesn't mean anything,
right? Yeah, everything's consented. Like that's the point I made earlier. With the 10-year relationship, and then one day I don't want to. Come on, do it. Now that's coercion. Now,
I could have said that was. You know, when you kind of look at it, it's like, I understand you're going to be like, okay, there's a double standard, and jury's going to be more sympathetic to a guy. That's just kind of like the way it is. But you go, whenever you look at it and you go, okay, if this was the other way around, there wouldn't even be a 1% chance this would be anything. You go, okay, that might be pushing it too far where he's probably going to, I don't know if he's going to be guilty. That's where I started to see it.
Yeah.
Whereas like a lot of times you can look at it and you go, if this was the other way around, there probably would be nothing. But like, if this was the other way around where you go, a girl was with a guy for 10 years and the guy was like, she was making me have sex with her for 10 years, it would be like not even a slightest chance, right?
I mean, we knew back when we lived in Canada, there was this, in the height of the Me Too thing, there was this female comedian who basically said like her boyfriend was, one day her boyfriend came home and was like wanting to have sex, and she's like, I don't really feel like it, and he's just like, come on, and she's like, I had sex with him, and then she's like, I now realize he raped me, and we were like, I was like, what? This is crazy. Yeah, and she was gross. Like really gross, like grosser than, just way grosser than you imagine.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Well, I thought you made it, because I've sort of tried to define this too, but you made a list of, you go, what is masculinity? Mm-hmm. And then you had like a list of the 11 things that you would say, oh, that's a pretty good list. You said, number 1, confidence. Number 2, independence, responsibility, honesty, purposefulness, leadership, integrity, assertiveness, logic, nice, emotional intelligence, and 11, physical strength. Yeah. That's a pretty good list of, if you're going to say what it is.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
And then you're right on all of a lot of things that you do start to chip away. Like, for example, if you're not around men enough, like buddies that are like challenging each other, you could say that, you know, some of these things like purposefulness, leadership, independence might start chip away. If you stop making decisions and the girl starts like bitching the guy around, responsibility might start like chipping away.
Confidence.
Yeah, confidence might start. Yeah, so it's like all these things can kind of get like chipped away at life. It's a weird thing where like life's trying to chip it away and it's almost like you have to like not let it.
Yeah, you got to fight against it, man.
Yeah,
you got to fight against
the classic trope of the henpecked man.
If you look at the majority of guys that are in those long-standing marriages, they're sleeping in separate rooms, they stop having sex, those guys are a shell of themselves.
Yeah.
All those things have been chipped away.
My dream is actually sleeping in a separate room from my wife. I'm actually trying to work towards that.
Yeah, so it's these, and so the bad thing about it is, as it chips away, the message, aside from tating these guys, is that's what it's supposed to be. You know?
Yeah.
That's supposed to, if you're doing the right thing, if you're just, everything is basically ran and controlled and catered to the woman in your life, right? And we believe that, right? As men, you want to make your woman happy, but right now happiness has been centered around just a trade-off of your sense of self, right? And you gotta find a balance.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, it's a bad trade-off.
There was, but it's interesting. Like I even watched, like I don't know if you saw like Love Island, like all anyone talks about. I'm not even trying to get into it like that. But the girls getting in trouble for saying offensive stuff, and the one other guy, it's like there's like 4 different people that are in trouble with that, right? And it's funny because like all the girls kind of have run the Love Island thing, and they're all mad, and the people are getting kicked off, and it was kind of like in the male spheres, no one's getting in trouble for anything anymore, and it really feels like there's just like 2 completely different like worlds that are existing, where it's like there's the woman world where they have all these rules and they decide, and then there's the guy world where none of this applies, and the women, if women tried to like cancel people in our world right now, it would almost like just wouldn't work anymore.
No, it wouldn't work.
But that's not probably that healthy either. They're just like 2 completely separate, like siloed off worlds. Like one's run by women and one's run by men.
Well, I think a lot of the last 10 years has been women trying to be like, yo, we want to have more input into how things are run, like kind of feminizing everything.
And they're like, yeah, you have your own little world.
I mean, it's better when it's like probably separate.
Yeah, no,
A
definitely.
little to a degree.
I agree with that. Because we just, first of all, we're logical, right? We're logical and intellectual. And because a lot of women base things on what they feel, right? Like, and we're always going to have an issue with that. Because at the end of the day, we're going to come back to logic. Right.
Yeah.
So every problem that I get with a woman that I have is having the patience to get through what she feels when I can't make sense of it.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? I just,
Sure.
I can't.
Yeah, it's like an autistic
That is a
tweet.
universal truth right there. What you
Yeah,
said.
yeah, it's rough. And the guys that do good at it is they know how to do the patience and they know how to speak to the feelings, and that's the trick. But usually our adjusting is the trade-off, right? It's the trade-off, right? Like it's literally just go, so
okay.
That's why I'm single right now.
Yeah.
You single?
Yeah, because it's hard sometimes when you're like, you are saying the craziest shit right now, and the only way out of this is just to agree that you're right. And you go,
Well, I'm saying it seems like the other way around. I'm kind of saying that the girls that are like the bested men, they don't like argue with you. They kind of just go, please. Like they kind of, you know what I mean?
They
just
use their gifts,
They
right?
use their gifts,
They
which
use
is
their
just
gifts.
like guilt and, just like almost crying. And then every guy's just like, oh, when they argue, it doesn't work. So it's like the guys that are good with women, they're probably good at like just letting them say all their stuff, even though they're wrong. And then just like, just doing what you're going to do anyway, and have them like, it's almost like they'll like you, if you're like, hey, we're going to do this, then they tell you why they don't want that and this and that, and you go, okay, yeah, that makes sense, and then just do it anyway, and it's all fine.
Yeah.
Like it's almost, that's the guy version of how to get what you want. You just have to accept that, like, let them think that, but like, I don't know, it's,
I'm
I
having
can't
a little
play,
tantrum.
Yeah.
but it's hard.
Dude, the softness of a woman we care about, that's our kryptonite.
Sure.
Right.
Soft as a kryptonite. The argumentative, that's right in our wheelhouse.
Yes.
We argue over anything. Jordan's better than LeBron. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we'll get into these senseless arguments because it's what we like to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're wired at this. So when a woman approaches us with that energy, it's like, this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? You're not necessarily going to win this way, but some guys let them win, right? You let them win for the sake of not arguing, but then you're muting that's muting who you are.
Yeah.
I know.
Right? Like a woman's always going to have a better chance coming with the softness, please do this, and then we'll give in just because we care about her. But if a guy's letting her win the argument, he's deleting something.
Yeah. That's why my wife is currently 0-1,000 in arguments.
Yeah. You can't win. You just, that's what we do.
Can't do
we
it.
Live,
it's not in me. Though. Just let it slide.
Yeah, we will argue about anything just because.
Fellas, I hope you are enjoying the interview with the Punisher. And just a reminder that every week me and Danny do a bonus episode. So if you're looking for an episode of me and Danny going through some of the stuff that happened this week, and there has been a lot to talk about. I went to the hot dog competition for one.
Baby. Was there?
Guest of honor of the hot dog competitions. There's lots of stuff to talk about. Check us out after you're done listening to this at patreon.com/theboyscast for a bonus episode every single week. Patreon.com/theboyscast. What do you think of Zohran Mondami? Do you think that guy would be good for New York? As a guy who's been here forever?
So I don't know if he's saying a lot of good things, but I don't know if it's just the campaign part of it or if it's
If he can do any of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean,
Eric Adams is sort of, he likes the strip clubs, eh?
yeah.
ever seen him out?
I'm an Eric Adams fan, right?
Yeah.
I like Eric Adams too. I'd say it over and over again. I don't get what the hate is on Eric Adams.
I'm an Eric Adams fan, so I know there's guys coming in, saying all the right things, but I think in New York you're kind of strapped, right? It's so much you're gonna really be able to do. So no, I'm not buying in right now at the moment, man.
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I'm an Eric Adams guy.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It's hard to even put your finger on why, because I was sort of asking people why they hate him so much, and I think the best way that I described is like, like you just see like Gavin Newsom as sort of slimy. I think a lot of people see him as that, where they're just like he's like kind of like a.
Is Eric
sleazeball.
Adams is slimy?
That's what I think.
I mean,
yeah.
Zohran is 10 times as slimy.
Sure, I'm just telling you what they think.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not really the biggest like Eric Adams. I've been saying that. I don't hate him that much either.
Yeah. I think we're gonna identify with Eric Adams a little more because in politics there's a certain degree of slime anyway.
Yeah, that's Cuomo's slimy too. Yeah,
Yeah, but he
Mondami's a slime factory.
There's something authentic about Eric Adams slime, right? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's like, this dude's just, it is what it is.
Smoking hookah at 4:30 in the morning in Soho. You go, something real about that.
Yeah. He's just,
That's who he is.
Where he's talking about fixing the subway and the rats a little more than a guy that's like, okay, I'm gonna like change the world from my New York mayor position.
Yeah.
Yeah, just more realistic stuff, man. Like New York is a complicated city, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a complicated city, man. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'm an Adams guy, man.
Well, we appreciate you coming in, man,
Yeah,
giving
this
us
is great.
the scoop on everything. So the final thing is, if you say that of all the, I would say dealing with the case, male stripping, escort, and all that stuff. What do you think the most like true thing you learned about women's true nature that they don't that people don't realize?
The thing and it's the reason why I'm never married. Man, women approach relationships strictly on security and stability. That's really, for the majority of them, is the grounding point of what's important to them, right? So you're always at risk with a woman in terms of your earning potential and the space that she finds herself in that she believes is comfortable, right? And the problem is it's an escalating scenario, right? It's an escalating scenario. What she was happy with 2 years ago may not be what she's happy with now.
And it never goes backwards.
And it never goes backwards. So as a man, you cannot get into a pattern of trying to make her happy. Because you'll be because it's going to be a constant job,
mouse on the wheel.
and then she'll never fully be content. If you look at a woman going out, right, she can get her hair done, her makeup's perfect, her dress is perfect, her shoes are perfect, her accessories are perfect, and let her chip a nail right here, and everything's ruined.
Yeah.
That level of perfection, right, as a man and trying to please that and accommodate that, you'll never win. So you have to find a way to maintain. It's easier to say the leader, right? But it's a fine line between being a leader and keeping your woman happy, right? So you can't relinquish your sense of self and leadership for her needs of happiness, because then once it becomes about just her needs, and it should always be make her happy, but it has to be your needs as a byproduct of creating her happiness.
Oh.
If you flip that, you're gonna have a problem with women.
Yeah.
Period.
Well said.
Oh man. And then In Search of Freezer Meat, we can find it. Could Amazon, obviously,
Amazon,
right?
Audible, Barnes and Nobles.
Did you do the audiobook?
I did the audiobook. It's
Oh,
on
yeah?
my voice. Yeah, it's in my voice, the voices and everything.
Yeah.
So, and I appreciate you reading it, man. Like, there's a lot of mention of the book, but there's a saying, it's easier to get somebody to buy a book than to actually read it. So I'm glad.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, I read it this weekend. I don't know. It's fun. It's funny, right?
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I've a lot of that stuff, especially when you're talking about like, you know, the being younger stories of not getting up with girls, it was just like flashing back to me.
Yeah, I tell you, it resonates with
Just
every
like,
guy,
oh,
man.
fuck, like-
It resonates with every guy, man. So yeah, fellas, if you're listening, man, it's I guarantee you, man, you'll get some great information out of the book. Definitely some stuff you'll find entertaining and funny and take you back and resonate. And I think it's a good tool. It's not just go out and get a penis implant book. It's about our lives, how our growth messes with our masculinity, our relationships. It's a lot of things that I learned over the years that I think it'll be a helpful tool to shed some light on some things and pick it up, man.
Yeah. Also, I think that the one thing that maybe gets left out sometimes is the fact that it also comes up in the book, but you're like, aside from, you know, the stuff with Diddy and your book and everything, you kind of have this, like, you are like this successful entrepreneur guy that, like, you know, had, you know, real estate, you were buying properties, you kind of had this reality show and you've kind of built this business. So you are like you kind of have this like entrepreneur mindset that you approach life for that comes through and everything too.
Yeah. So,
maybe gets lost a little bit in all the Diddy stuff.
so what it basically is the book will translate where what most guys would see as a successful life, right?
Yeah.
I had it. I was on a path. I was doing my thing. And I don't care how successful life is for you or whatever. When you start experiencing sexual issues, right, and confidence issues, you could seem like from the outside everything is great, but we all going through the same stuff, man. We all going through the same stuff. And a lot of guys give up. They just give up and say, you know what, my life sucks. I'm just gonna no sex at home. This what happened. You just kind of fall into this almost place of depression. But we're men. We manage it. We just get through it. And you know, the book is. I went through the same thing where I'm supposed to be this sex symbol, all these women, whatever the case may be, and I'm kind of depressed, just getting through it. And I just woke up one day like, nah, man. I like life has to be more than this, but. This is shameful for us, right? So there's nobody to talk to. Like, you're not gonna call your buddy up and talk about struggling in the bedroom or why your wife's not sleeping with you or whatever. So the book is like that conversation that you need to have, right, with somebody, right?
Yeah.
And then it's relatable because it's a guy that's going through the same thing you're going through that you would think would not be going through it. Like a escort with erectile dysfunction.
And even and more of a problem because you're like, oh, you think it sucks for you? It sucks. I promise you, this is
My livelihood.
Yeah. And so it's those stories. You know, it's funny to take you back. It's
you had a problem taking some 4 back to your van from the bar. I'm losing out on $2,000 tonight.
So I just wanted that too. I know when I was going through in my low points, a book like I had would have helped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would have helped. Like, oh wow, this guy.
It's not a talked about thing. I talk about it a lot on stage, actually. Like, I do a lot of jokes about it, but it's like, it hasn't, you know, it isn't really the most like talked about topic for how big of an issue it is.
Because who wants to talk about it? Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like even I'll
It's not cool, yeah.
Like I'll do a YouTube interview like this, and I'll see a guy in the comments go, "Oh, that's crazy, man! I can't believe that guy's talking
I'm a
about
fucking
that."
rock.
And then I'll look on my website, and it's a text message. Hey, what's that doctor's number? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's. Oh, no, outwardly, you don't want to speak about it, but it's good to have a tool, man. So hopefully it's been helping a lot of guys, man. I'm getting a lot of feedback, and hopefully it reaches some more people. And
check it out. And then, you know, follow on Instagram and Twitter and everything. But it's fun. It's crazy because we've been talking about this story for like a year now. So it's like crazy to have you on.
Yeah. Just to clear it up, I do not have a pump in the garage with the set the PSI.
We were just ignorant. We didn't know how it worked. I appreciate you clearing it up.
Man.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, brother.
I appreciate
it,
guys, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.